I can't believe that tomorrow is our last day at school together, said Trustee Tate. It's been a wonderful week. I wish it didn't have to end. Rachel Waters squeezed her hand as they sat next to each other in the auditorium. The best friend had loved every moment at the past week. Trustee's school had been flooded, so she had to join Rachel in Tippington. It's good that your school will be open again next week, but I am going to miss you so much, said Rachel. They were sitting with the rest of Mr. Bitter's class at the afternoon assembly. Miss Patel, the principal, clapped her hands together and everyone fell silent. Good afternoon, everyone, she said. I hope that you have all had a good morning and are looking forward to class this afternoon. Yes, Miss Patel, all the students said together. Some of you have already met our school superintendent, Mrs. Bass. Miss Patel went on. She is observing the school today and tomorrow. A lady with a clipboard joined Miss Patel at the front of the auditorium, and everyone clapped politely. I hope that you will all continue to show Mrs. Bass what a wonderful school this is, said Miss Patel. Just then Rachel and Trustee heard a sound of chattering nearby. They peered along their row and saw two boys in green uniforms snickering and muttering to each other. The girls exchanged a knowing glance. They knew that the boys were goblins in disguise. Miss Patel made a few short announcements and then sent everyone off to their classrooms. Look, Miss Trustee whispered, peering over her shoulder. Mrs. Bass is following our class. Rachel looked too and saw Mrs. Bass a few steps behind them. She must be coming to observe our gym class, said Rachel. I hope that the goblins behave themselves, said Trustee in a low voice. It would be awful if they messed things up for Tippington School. Feeling anxious, the girls changed quickly into their shorts, t-shirts, and sneakers. Then they jogged out to the field with their friends Adam and Amina and the rest of the class. Mrs. Bass was waiting for them at the edge of the field holding a clipboard. Mr. Bitter was standing beside her, and the girls saw him glancing down at the clipboard. Oh, I hope this class goes well, said Rachel, crossing her fingers. Poor Mr. Bitter looks worried. The goblins were at the back of the group, fooling around. Just as they had refused to wear the Tippington school uniform, they had also refused to wear the gym uniform. While everyone else matched in their navy and white uniforms, the goblins were dressed in scruffy bright green shorts, stained green t-shirts. They were wearing green baseball caps to hide their faces. Trustee spotted Mr. Bass making notes on a clipboard, and her heart sank. Good afternoon, everyone, said Mr. Bitter, talking in an extra cheerful voice. We are going to do an obstacle course relay, so I'd like you to get into the team of 4, please. Will you two be on our team? Rachel asked Adam and Amina. Their friends agreed at once. There weren't quite enough children for everyone to have a team of 4, so Mr. Bitter told the goblins that they could be a team and do 2 obstacles each. Mr. Bitter led the children to the course. It looked like a lot of fun. There were all sorts of obstacles and challenges, with beanbags, balls, and cones laid out in a different color for each team. You all decide who on your team would go first, second, third, and fourth, Mr. Bitter explained. The first person has to balance a beanbag on their head and weave through the line of cones. The second person must throw a basketball through a hoop. The third person needs to jump rope 20 times, and the fourth person must finish the relay by crawling under a low net to the finish line. When each person finished their part, Of course, they have to tag the next team member as the signal goes. Do you all understand? Rachel and Trustee nodded, feeling very excited. They couldn't wait to get started.